Both with addition and subtraction. In other words, this. If you're missing, Miss Lopez.
Listen, this won't bother you if I have a chapel signed up tonight during your meeting, will it?
Not at all.
Just learn your math.
Exactly.
Pay attention to Mr. Hahn. You shouldn't be looking at me. Watch Mr. Hahn.
Exactly. We've got that on video. Okay, for example, here's an example problem. We talk about missing numbers here. 12 plus m equals 36. And the missing number there is that letter m there. And whenever you're missing a number, in addition or subtraction, what I want you to do is I want you to think of an easier problem. Do we have some issues back there? Because rather than distract the class, I will ask you to leave. What's going on back there? Think of an easier problem. In other words, this. When you come up with a problem like this, okay, I want you to think of an easy addition problem. And you can pick any one you want. 6 plus 4 equals 10. And here is what you do. Okay, you think about this. These two problems are both addition problems. But in this one, you're missing the middle number. If I'm missing the middle number over here, okay, if I was missing this 4, ask yourself, what do you do with 10 and 6 to get 4? Because you're looking for the process to solve it, not necessarily the answer to solve it. In which case, you would do what, Ryan? Right, you're going to end up subtracting the 6 from the 10. That's the same process you do here. You're going to end up taking the 36 and subtracting 12. Okay, when you end up, what you end up with is the number that goes in that middle. Okay. Or even if the missing number was on top. Let's say I have b plus 38 equals 90. Again, think of an easier problem, because you might get into the rut and say, well, every time you're going to subtract, but that's not always the case with everything. Sometimes yes, sometimes no, so it's always good for you to, you could think of a different problem. How about this one? 8 plus 3 is 11. If I'm missing the top number, the 8, what do I do with 11 and 3 to get 8? Again, you would subtract. So my answer to this one is 90 minus 38, which is 52 for your answer for the letter B. Now sometimes they get a little tougher than this with addition. What if the problem is this? M plus 12 plus 7 equals 302. M plus 12 plus 7 equals 302. What do you suppose the first thing you should do there is? Same as manual.
Add 12 and 7.
Right. Put these two together because you can do that, and then it ends up being m plus 19 equals 302. Then go back to what we just talked about doing there. If you have 5 plus 1 equals 6, what do I do if I'm missing the 5? What do I do with the 6 and the 1 to get 5? Subtract. And again, you're going to say, looks like we've subtracted every time. And I'm going to say, well, yeah, in this case we have. But when we get to subtraction, you're going to see a little different case there. 283, does that sound right? Okay. Now, lest you think that you've got it figured out, let's look at subtraction. Missing numbers with subtraction. The other thing when you do these problems here, make sure your answer makes sense. Because too often I see people put something that is not even logical just because they think they did it right. You always want to check it. So here, let's look at this one. How about the letter T minus 18 equals 42. You have this subtraction problem here. What's the first thing I'm supposed to do, Alex Knapp?
Subtract 40.
What's the first thing I do? If you look back at the notes that we just took, right under where it said missing numbers, we put, think of an easier subtraction problem. How about 15 minus 6 is 9, and it's whatever one you want. If, in this one, you're missing the top number, if I'm missing the top number over here, what do I do with 9 and 6 to get 15? Jacob? Add, so that's what I'm going to do here to get my answer. I'm going to take 42 plus 18, and you're going to get 60. And I know right now, almost all of you are thinking, well, that means with subtraction problems, I always add. And here is where that falls apart. If I have this problem, 40 minus p equals 12, okay, it doesn't make sense for me to add these together because 40 plus 12 is 52. I can't take 52 away from 40. If I go back to what I told you to do there and think of an easier subtraction problem, 8 minus 5 is 3. If you're missing the middle number in that subtraction thing, what do you do with 8 and 3 to get 5, Alexa? What do I do with 8 and 3 to get 5? I subtract. So that's what I'm going to have to do in this case here. And when I subtract, I end up with 28, which is the answer. So you can't just always say with subtraction, you're always going to add to find your answer, or you're always going to subtract. Sometimes you have to do it one way, sometimes you have to do it the other way. And again, after you do the problem, make sure your answer makes sense. Okay, because the nice thing is this works for anything. If I asked you this, what is m minus 6,381 equals 249, those big numbers shouldn't scare you because you know what to do. Well, first of all, I think of a simple problem. What? 6 plus 3 is 9. You're missing the, I'm sorry, 6 minus 3 is 3. If I'm missing this first one, what do I do with 3 and 3 to get 6? Anybody? 3 and 3, do I add or subtract? Yep. I add, so that's what I'm going to do with these two. And add them together. 6, 3, 8, 1 plus 249, 0, 9, 3, 6, 6. 6,360. 6,630. It's been a long, long day. Question on that? Let me give you one. I know you're chomping at the bit to do one of these. How about this one? W minus 16 equals 30. I'll give you time to do that right now. W minus 16 is 30. W minus 16 is 30. W minus 16 is 30. Pete says
46.
46, I believe, is the correct answer. And again, if you think about this, if you do 5 minus 2 is 3, you're missing the top number like I am there, you add those two, add these two, you get 46. How about this one? 781 minus the letter B equals 365. 781 minus the letter B equals 365. 781 minus the letter B equals 365. the survey says, Kelvin,
416.
416. Yeah, that looks about right, doesn't it? You think of an easier problem, 8 minus 2 is 6, you miss the middle, you subtract those two, so 781 minus 365 is. Does anybody get 1,000 something?